Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. It's Tuesday, time to talk about some new releases coming out this Friday, August 18th. There's about 400 albums coming out this week. I got 10 on my list for today. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check them out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlists that we put together every week, and the Patreon page. Make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. Like I said in the intro, there's about 400 albums coming out this week. I'm only going to talk about 10 on the show today, so if there's something I don't talk about, make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to picking up this week. And like always, if you're unable to find any of these in your local brick and mortar stores, all these should be available online. I'll put links down below for them. So the first release I was really excited for until I saw it was a picture disc, and then I kind of lost interest in that. I'm not the biggest fan of picture discs. I know they've gotten better over the last couple of years quality-wise. I'll still stick with a standard release, but this is Black Sabbath, Hand of Doom. This is a box set of the first 8 studio albums, so this is all the Ozzy years. So this is everything from their self-titled album all the way up to Never Say Die. And this box set's been released a bunch of times over the years. It's always called different things. I think the last time they did it was 2017, I think. It was called the 10-Year War. It was all on colored vinyl. It looked really cool. It goes for like $500 to $700 online, depending where you find it at. I would have loved to see them reissue that instead of doing picture discs, but this is the first time it's going to be available on picture discs. These do look nice. It looks like it's going to be a pretty nice box set. It's going to run you about $250 online. It does include a poster from 1972 of the band. I don't think it comes with any kind of book or anything special like that. It just those eight albums, which I think are some of the best albums of the 70s. But it looks like it's gonna be a good release if you're interested in picture discs. And then you've also got Aerosmith's Greatest Hits coming out this week. So there's a couple of different versions that's going to be available. So there's a 1 LP version that's going to run you $24 that has 10 tracks on it. Then there's a 2 LP track a 2 LP set that's going to run you $33, which is going to have 20 tracks on it. And then there's a big 4 LP set that's going to run you $150. It's got 44 tracks from all across Aerosmith's great 5-decade long career. Bunch of great stuff on here. I think the 4 LP set is kind of like the definitive version of it. It's got all the big hits that everyone knows. I think it also has some lesser known great tracks on there that they put on the album that maybe not, everyone might not be familiar with all those tracks, but they are some really good ones. $150 I think is quite a bit for me to grab that one, though. If I do grab it, it'll probably be the 2 LP version, even though I've got most of Aerosmith's albums anyway. But if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of Aerosmith in your collection, I think these greatest hits compilations do a good job of kind of encapsulating what most of their career was. And then this week, there's a couple of really interesting jazz releases, both coming out from the Blue Note Classic series. I love the Classic series and Tone Poet series. They've introduced me to so many great jazz albums over the last few years. Stuff I probably wouldn't have never heard of had it not been for these releases. But the first one, this is Tony Williams' Spring. This was released back in 1965. It's going to run you about $28 online. It's mastered by Kevin Gray from the original analog tapes. It's pressed to optimal. This thing's going to sound fantastic, I'm sure. This is so he's got a great lineup on here. He's got Wayne Shorter, Sam Rivers, Herbie Hancock, Gary Peacock. Tony is, at least in my opinion, is one of the best jazz drummers from the 1960s. Does a lot of really great work. So I'm definitely going to grab that one this week. And then you got Cecil Taylor, Unit Structures, released in 66. This is his debut album on Blue Note. Very interesting album because it's very like avant-garde 60s jazz. It might not be right up everyone's alley. I definitely recommend streaming that one before you pick it up. This is also mastered by Kevin Gray, pressed to optimal, all the standard Blue Note stuff. And he's got Eddie Gale on here. He's got Jimmy Lyons, Ken McIntyre, Henry Grimes, and Alan Silva. Great lineup for both of those albums, so I'm definitely looking forward to both those this week. And you got the new album from Jon Batiste coming out this week. This is World Music Radio, his 7th studio album. It's double LP. It's a couple of different versions of it available. I know there's a standard black version. There's also a yellow variant that I've seen. I think there's also a third variant that I've seen online also. I don't remember which color it was, though. But this is going to run you about $38 online. Of course, this is the follow-up to his smash hit in 2021, We Are, which won a whole bunch of awards. It was a great album. It took me a little while to finally get around to checking it out. Really blown away by it. If you haven't heard it yet, I highly recommend it. I think you're really missing out. It's going to run you about $38 online, but this has Lana Del Rey on here. It's got Heroes, Lil Wayne, Kenny G, Native Soul, a big, great list of features on this album. Definitely one I'm going to stream this week. And then you've also got Jack Harlow, Jackman. This was, by the way, I didn't know Jackman was Jack Harlow's real first name. Kind of interesting. But anyway, this was released back in April, his third studio album. It's it's been met with some mixed reviews. It did hit number 8 on the Billboard charts. It did sell pretty well. I haven't been a big fan of his first couple of albums, especially his album that came out last year, which was Come Home, The Kids Miss You. I streamed it a couple times. I just didn't really like it. I think his first album is at least so far has been his best release. I'll at least stream that one this week and check it out also. Another one that I think is going to be a bigger release this week, this is Sonic Youth Live in Brooklyn. This was released digitally back in 2018. It's going to run you about $30 online. It's never been available on vinyl. I know there's multiple different colored versions available. I think there's a standard black version. Then I think there's 1 or 2 other colors. One of them might be an indie exclusive. I'm not 100% sure on that though. So this was recorded August 12, 2011 in Brooklyn. It ended up being the last U.S. show for Sonic Youth. After that, they would go on to do a South America tour before the band broke up. It's a great set. It's like an 85-minute long set. They cover a bunch of great tracks from over their career. Sonic Youth, at least in my opinion, are one of the most influential bands of the late 80s, early part to mid part of the 90s. Influenced a whole lot of bands, did a lot of great work themselves, so it's definitely one I'm looking forward to. Then yeah, Jim Croce, I Got a Name, being reissued this week. First released back in 1973. It was his 5th and final studio album, celebrating his 50th anniversary. And it's going to run you about $23 online. And to be completely honest, I don't think I've ever actually listened to this entire album. There's only 2 singles that came off of here, which was I'll Have to Say I Love You in a Song and Working at the Car Wash Blues. I think those are the only 2 tracks I think I've ever heard off of this one, so it's definitely one I need to go back and stream and check out. And then the last 2 albums on the list this week, one is one of my favorite albums of the 60s. The other one is a great compilation, came out for Record Store Day last year. That's getting reissued this week. But the first one, this is the Beach Boys' Surfin' Safari, was released back in 1962, their debut album. It's going to run you about $26 online. So I haven't seen anything like officially announced. There's nothing in the description that I saw online, but I did see on an online forum that they say, I guess this is supposed to be on clear vinyl. Like I said, I haven't seen anything official, so if you order it and it's not on clear vinyl, don't leave me nasty comments online about it. But it was a great album. This is the album that like really put the Beach Boys on the map. It was huge when it was released. Hit, I think it was number 32. It hit on the Billboard 200 here. But there was a bunch of great singles came off of here. You had Surfin' Safari, Surfin', 409, Little 10 Indians. Like I said, a great album. One of my favorite albums, especially of the early part of the 60s. It's definitely one I'm going to grab this week. And then the last one on the list, this is Go Ahead Punk, Make My Day. So this is released, this is a compilation that was released Record Store Day last year. Looks really cool. It's on orange splatter vinyl. I've got a copy of it in my collection. It was one of those ones I had to have that day. But it's going to run you about $23 online. So this was released back in 1996. This was a CD sampler from Nitro Records. Nitro was an early 90s punk label out on the West Coast, or a small indie label, but they had a bunch of really great stuff on there. They had some really great bands too. So you got tracks from AFI on here. You got Guttermouth, The Vandals, some stuff on here from The Offspring. Like I said, if you're a early to mid 90s West Coast punk fan, it's definitely one worth checking out. Well, that's all I got for this week, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to picking up this week. Like I said, a bunch of great stuff. I really wish that Black Sabbath box set was a reissue of that 2017 box set. 'Cause you know me, I'm a big fan of colored vinyl. I probably would have spent some good money on that. I'm not going to spend the $500 to $700, whatever that box set sells for now. But I was disappointed there was a picture disc. But look, that might be a good release. Definitely gonna grab those jazz releases this week. Some other stuff I'll stream. But let me know what you guys are looking forward to picking up. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.